Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode, 163 or something of DevChatter. Kind of losing track, but anyway, greetings, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a good day. What is it? It's a Thursday, I believe, and we are going to write some code today. Greetings, hello everyone in chat. Hopefully, everyone that is managed to show up today is looking forward to some nice coding. I wasn't totally sure about being able to stream today, but looks like I will be able to, and that should be fun. So, where were we? So, when last we watched DevChatter, we were working on a project that we call our DevStreams project, for lack of a better name for it. And DevStreams is, of course, just we'll say the working title of it. It is a community site that we're building in ASP.NET Core using C#. And for our front end, we have added in VueJS and, of course, JavaScript along with that, clearly. And with those pieces, we are building this open source community site. The main goal of the site is to essentially promote the developer live streaming community and give a place both to find other developer live streams that you're interested in, and obviously from the reverse side of that, to be able to tell other people about your live stream. So that is the goal. Included in that, we want people to be able to find streams based on their schedule. So maybe you're able to watch streams on the weekend, so you might want to see who streams on Saturdays or Sundays. And obviously you might want to check that without having to literally go to the Twitch website all day long to see who's streaming at any given point. You could see the people's schedules for that. So that is the main purpose of the website. We don't yet have it hosted anywhere, and I need to set up the build process for it, so we've got some of the pipeline stuff that still needs to get put in place before this is really there, but we are able still to write some code for it. So, let's see. We have a couple of people that I know are that have forked the repository and are planning on sending us some pull requests. If you're interested in doing that as well, you can actually find all this code out on GitHub, and I put a link to that over there. If you're new to DevChatter, welcome. We are at least when I'm not sick, hence how we were able to get to 163 streams in the course of a year. We're actually coming up on our 1-year anniversary of the DevChatter streams. We usually stream 4 times a week, and it's on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So, you can find the schedule down below. You can also ask our bot what the schedule is, and you can tell it where you live in order to, get a schedule in your time. So, for example, first off, hi, good evening, and welcome. The people that say good evening are probably somewhere east of me. And I'll just say Europe, for example. So if I do schedule, and let's just pick a European country, like, say, France. We could say schedule France, and our bot will respond back with that information. So we're not doing the same calculation in our bot as we are in the website, but we definitely want to make sure that it can get those kinds of things. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't actually guessing that you were in France. I was just picking a European one, and yeah, there we go. Hey, Wheelspin, and glad to see a bunch of people saying hi in chat. So welcome. Doesn't matter where you're from, you are welcome to join and hang out with us. So feel free to ask questions in chat, or just, watch from home. Feel free to follow along. You can, as I said, this code is out on GitHub, so you can look through any of it as you like. Let's see. So where we were last time. I'm going to go ahead and run the site so we can see that. And actually, I'm going to run it in VS Code, because I like doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a terminal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the command line, and I'm going to say .NET run, and I'm going to say .NET run watch, which tells it to keep track of more changes, so it's more likely to pick up our changes without us having to restart things. So that's step one. Now, I also need to tell it, is it -- project? Oh, I always forget. Anyway, I need to tell it, since I actually keep all my project folders not at the root level where the solution is, I need to tell it that this is where the web project is that it's actually running. So, there we go. Yeah, so people trying out things to mess with the schedule command, because it does actually do a search for what that location might be. So that's why you're able to get away with some things like saying NYC, and it knows that that means New York City, and put in Eastern Standard Time. Now, it is always going to return back with what the schedule is today. So when we're near a daylight savings time change, the bot at least is going to get the schedule wrong. But once we transition into the new time zone, it should get it right again. So that's one of the important things, is that it's only wrong day of, because it doesn't convert what would be like next week. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at our site. So it says it's running on localhost, so localhost. I can spell localhost. We're going to go ahead and load this here, and this gets us our website. So I wanted to show you what we'd set up, and first off, we have just a set of 4 tags that are in here. Now, tags, obviously, in this case, we are setting them up so that we can have essentially ways of filtering and keeping track of information. Now, when we set up these, we noticed a couple of things. Now, this is kind of a hint to us as a developer. So we have tags that cross boundaries for what they're tracking. So in this case, we have programming language tags, because I did C# and JavaScript. I did spoken language tags, and this is almost like frameworks. So we have a few types of tags. Now, obviously, we could build in these concepts to our tags. We could make separate types of tags. We could make a tag type. Or we could have the data actually have some other meaning. So we could create domain concerns for like the language or the tech stack. And there are also other things we could consider as well. And for example, like which platforms you stream on could also be a tag that someone might want to filter based on. I'll give you an example. It is actually possible to simultaneously stream on YouTube and Twitch and Mixer. So you can actually do a broadcast that goes across all of them. And that actually then becomes something filterable, where a tag is useful because you might be on all 3 platforms. I will point out, though, to anyone who does any streaming, because obviously we're working on a community streaming site, if you are a Twitch affiliate, as part of your contract, you have actually agreed not to do that. So if you are a Twitch affiliate, which means you're someone that both can have subscribers, emotes, and that sort of thing, you have at least agreed not to do that. So let's see. Need light and dark mode. Dark mode. And there was a question. Janiscu wants to know, did I know that Telerik has Blazor tooling in preview that has a grid and table and tabs? Janiscu, I didn't know the specifics of what is in that, but I did know that they were going to be building it, because one of our good friends who's been on the stream with us, Ed Charbonneau, he also hosts his own channel, a streaming channel here on Twitch, that I believe he calls Blazor State Has Changed. And I do know that he was talking about, he was asking people whether or not they would be interested in that kind of tooling if Telerik were to create it. And so I'm not surprised at all that they're creating it, because one of their, I'll call him a dev relations person, one of their people is kind of like gung-ho about Blazor, so it makes sense that they would want to get in on that, especially early. A lot of the component vendors really want to get in the door quickly and provide a lot of value for us. So good stuff. And Janisko, I think I have to agree with SNB on that one. I don't think we can say goodbye to JavaScript just yet. Okay, so today I think I'm going to do most of our coding over in Visual Studio rather than VS Code, which of course means we're going to end up doing more JavaScript than we do C#, but that's just how it goes. Let's see. What was I going to look at? So we created the tag. Tag is super basic. It's right there. Oh, actually, I should mention the one other thing we created, and that is over on the channels. When we create a new channel or edit an existing channel, we have this little tags box down here, and I will show it to you using these fake channels we created. So you'll see we have C#, JavaScript, and we could add in English, for example, and that would add that to our list of tags. Styling's not perfect on that, but this is functional, and that's the big thing that matters right now, is that we have functional pieces. We could use this site today, and considering our audience as developers, I am less concerned about getting it perfect. And I agree, S&B, we absolutely need to color code based on type. So we really want it to be that there is a color for the language tags, both spoken and like computer programming languages, and it's separate color for each of those, and tags for like frameworks and things like that. Also for like stream style. So those are the kinds of things that I think we want to get in there. And that is why we definitely need to cover something about tag type. Okay, so I just wanted to show that since I hadn't yet. So a couple of things. If you are new to ASP.NET Core, this, or even MVC, this will be interesting for you. And the first one is I'm going to jump over to our layout page, which is in Pages Shared Layout. And name starts with an underscore, which is a good hint that this isn't like a standalone page. They use that naming convention there. This is going to be some kind of a partial, or you can think of this kind of like a master page from the old days, where essentially what we end up with is this is our page. It has all of our basic stuff in it, and what it defines are things like this. So this is where it renders the body. This is where it renders a script section. So if on your page you want to define a script section, you render your scripts down there. And since I'm showing it, I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like on the other end. So you'll notice I declared a section named scripts, and that's actually going to then fill in here at the scripts section. And notice it says required false, so that's kind of the idea there. So, yep, basic concept. What kind of DevStreams those are using, like tab? Yes. Yeah, Janisku, it might actually be important. Hey! No, I don't have a special alert for 420. I'm sorry, man. Sorry. But thank you for the biddies. Much appreciated. I think we need some hype in the chat on that one. No, interruptions are good. So, the other thing I want to note here in the render section is you'll notice that it's required false. Which I covered up with all my hypes, but it says required false here, so we don't actually need to define these on the child pages. So that comes out of the box when you use ASP.NET Core. You're going to get these nice pieces, but I did want to show you all of that. The other thing I want to make sure that is clear to people, because I know that not everyone here is a .NET or ASP.NET dev of any type. Notice that these are not HTML pages, these are CSHTML pages, which means that these use Razor syntax. Which essentially means it's going to compile and run these. These are going to be run as they're going to have C# bits in them, and there are a couple of other things that they do. So for example, I get these special environment tags, and these actually run at compile time. It's going to take these environment tags, and if I'm in the development environment, it's going to give me this section, and this says exclude. So if I'm not in the development environment, I'm going to get these tags. So that's kind of the way that it makes sure that you can get different stuff depending on which environment you're in. Now, the reason I'm in here is I want to do a couple of things. The first one is I want to get myself a link to the management pages. So I decided to make a backend section where we can edit the things like our tags that are allowed to be used. So we're not going to just open up tags for anyone to just fill in whatever they want, because I do know that if we did that, we would end up with this set of tags. We would end up... actually, I don't want to do that in this file. We would end up with a C# tag, and a C# tag, and a C# tag, and I think you get the idea. And then we also have to worry that we might end up with a JavaScript tag, and a JavaScript tag, and like, so there's all kinds of things, and we kind of want to be like, well, you know, there's like, we don't want to end up with that. And then we also worry that you end up with like, oh, what if someone wants to define that their C#8 is what they do on stream? And so like, the concept can get out of control, so we just want to just cut it off. And we're like, no, we're just going to define the tags up front, and we'll figure that one out. Phase Pilot, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. Hype in the chat. Okay, so that's the basic concept there that I wanted to talk about. So the layout page. Let's add our management section, because we're going to want that. So in here... I am going to, actually, let me add it to the bottom. We're going to make this the last item. We're going to call it manage. And we're going to say manage site. So I put all these under manage. S&B, again? What do you mean again? What again? Oh, nobody won. Oh, okay. Yes. So some people are playing rock, paper, scissors in chat, and I swear it's not rigged. And my evidence for it not being rigged, literally some of these people that are calling it rigged, like Janiscu, for example, I'm pretty sure Janiscu was here when we wrote that. So not only did he see the code, he saw the code being written. So it is not rigged. But it's sad that I had, what, it was March 20th, I think. I said, I swear it's not rigged, which I believe was in regards to that rock, paper, scissors game. Okay. Manage site. I don't have a manage site page. Oh, big thing. I made a mistake. Check this out. So here's what I wrote. So I told you that these Razor pages are actually compiled, and they're compiled usually at the last second, so that they can be for the right location. So they're compiled for the correct spot. But this ASP page right here, this has to define a page. First off, not only is there no page called manage, if you look inside the pages section, there is no root level page called manage. There is a folder. So first off, I haven't created the index page, and second, that's not a URL. So in a URL, when you just define manage, it will try your index page, it'll try index.html, it'll try index.html, HTML. Depending on your system, it might look for like a default.aspx or other things like that. That's not going to happen here. I need to actually define a page. So I have to say /index, because this really is defining a page. So if I set my routing system up in some weird way, I can customize that. It could be at a different URL. So this might not be the URL. I'm defining a page. Just want to clarify there. Okay. Whoops. Don't view. I don't want to see that in the object browser, people. Thank you. I want a Razor page, basic one. And we're going to call it index. Yeah, we'll take a page model class, even though I don't think we're going to do anything with it. And we'll use a layout page. The idea with using the Razor page, I could just put an HTML page and just reference that. I don't really need the Razor page. Now, part of the reason I'm using it is because it will use that layout. There was an error in the generator. Oh, well, that's weird. For some reason, the generator wanted to compile the site when it was doing that code, so the fact that the site was running is actually what prevented it from creating this. I'm not sure why it was compiling the site to do that. I would love to talk with the ASP.NET team about that one. Kind of weird. And Il Piccolo Tufino? I may have just totally butchered your name. If I did, I didn't mean to. I apologize about that. There's a good chance I did. But anyway, welcome. Thanks for following. Much appreciated. And welcome to everyone that's shown up today. So yes, and the question I know I'm going to get asked by someone, hey, are you running VS Code or Visual Studio, or which one and why aren't you using the other one? Because I always get asked that question. It's a perfectly fine question. Don't feel bad about asking it. I actually use both. I like both of them. They're both good. Usually what I do is if I think I'm going to be in Razor Pages and C# more often, I'm running Visual Studio. If I think I'm going to be doing more JavaScript, I try to run VS Code. And I just take a guess, and I'm often wrong, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, and Janisku with the NoopCat and the C# bot. There you go. I like NoopCat. She's pretty awesome. Let's see. We have our index page created. And there's our index page there. So on this page, we're going to want some stuff. So for now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to make a p tag. And I'm going to say, pretend there's useful info on this page. Because it's, pretend there's useful info on this page because it's clearly a dashboard of some kind. Okay, so there's our little placeholder. This is going to be a dashboard page of information. We know that because why would we not do a dashboard of information here? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make an unordered list that is some links. So I'm going to call this, I don't know. We'll just do this important links here. So these will be the links for now. UL represents. Yes, that's true. The order of these does not matter. I'm not sure why it was giving me that hint text. Hang on, everybody. Hang on. I'm probably getting yelled at about something. I don't know what. ASP-page. And what page am I going to link to? This is going to be tags index. Manage tags. And we'll probably do like a nested drop-down navigation later, but for now we're just going to put this here because I figure we'll probably have the dashboard, and when you're on the dashboard you're probably going to want quick links to stuff. This will probably be along a sidebar eventually, but I'm not going to deal with even styling that yet. This will all be inside of divs and stuff, but meh. Not a task I'm going to deal with today. Thought you should add links to the repo and project details to the details below stream. Oh, you're talking about down in the panels below. I should make sure there are links to this project. Yeah, I don't think I have links to this project. I think I've got some links to our other projects, but there should be links to GitHub down below as well. And if anyone is interested, all the code we do here on the stream is out on GitHub, and this is a community site that we're doing open source here at github.com/devchatter/devstreams. It's our DevStreams project. It's a community site for developer streamers and the viewers of those. So obviously it's for everybody here in the chat. So that's the idea. It is a place where we can get information about that kind of stuff. So feel free to head over there and help out with that. Oh, someone did a ship it emote. Let's see. Coated beard is rich. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's coins in our our system. Yes, DevChatter wealth. It must be coins in our system that he's talking about. Where all the about stuff is and stuff. Yeah, and the panels. Yeah. Yep, I got that. Should be, it should run just fine in Rider, actually. You should be able to run it in VS Code, Rider, or Visual Studio. Should run in all three just fine. I run ReSharper here, so I don't really have much reason to run it in Rider, because it'll be similar experience there. So I do VS Code and Visual Studio with ReSharper. But yeah, you can run it in Rider as well. Okay, so this page should exist now. Oh, someone, Little Dan, welcome, thanks for following, much appreciated. Let's see if I need to restart the site or not. Okay, so I was able to just refresh, and we have a managed site over here. If I click on that, maybe, okay, good, we did get here. And then index, pretend there's useful info on this page because it's clearly a dashboard. Yeah, exactly. And AI, welcome. Thanks for following, much appreciated. Wait, should, but software development. Yeah, exactly. Okay, this site's not that complicated. I'm pretty sure it's going to run in Rider for you. If not, I will be very surprised. Let me know if it doesn't, because I will gladly give you a hand with it. Okay, so this is manage site. Which, to be honest, that should be a value that fills in both of those spots. But anyway, I won't worry about it. That ought to update there. There we go. Manage site. Cool. Actually, maybe we'll call it management dashboard. There we go. That's a way better name. That's a dashboard. Okay, with all kinds of cool stuff on there. Great information. Yes, everything is in the DevStreams repo. That's where this is. I had an issue where my app would run in release mode but not debug. Turns out that breakpoints can assign values to variables. Breakpoints can assign values to variables? I know if you catch a breakpoint, you can change the value in a variable, but I didn't know that having the existence of a breakpoint could actually cause a problem. That's new to me. I don't think I've ever seen that. Okay, so cool. We do now have links. You can click there, you can click there. So it's 2 links instead of mouse over and drop down, but we haven't put that in yet. I'm sure we'll eventually add some kind of a drop down menu here to be able to manage tags and other things more conveniently, but we could change up the whole style of the site, so I don't want to deal with it. Franker Z, thanks. Hey, welcome, greetings, and as one of our representatives from Canada living in the United States, I would like to make a formal request that you return the polar vortex back up to Canada and further north locations. Thank you. That was a joke, of course. It is freezing outside right now. It is very, very cold where I am. Hang on, let me quick aside. FNC. Let's see if it figures it out. Okay, so to convert so that I can get the right value for you in Celsius. This was the temperature for where I am this morning. Because I know there are a lot of Europeans in here, so now everyone can understand this is how cold it was, and our feels adding in the wind chill was much lower than this. It was bad. You did not want to be outside this morning. Man. Breakpoints. Yeah, I did not know that a breakpoint could assign a value. Coded beard. Oh man. Oh geez. No, coded beard. Oh, that is brutal. That is amazing. Quas, coded beard. I didn't think about that. If you did an assignment inside of a conditional breakpoint, you're right. It really can do that. That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly, little Dan. So that is one of the problems. Like that weather's not that bad, but what a lot of people don't realize is that like there are preparations that are made. Like if you're in a colder climate, there's a lot of things you have to help you in that. So like you can have a heater literally in your car to keep your engine warm enough to run. Whereas no one down here has that. It's not cold, and it's not that cold long enough for that to be a thing. It's kind of like how if you go down into the southern parts of the United States, when there's like any snow, everything shuts down because they don't have brushes, they don't have ice scrapers, there are no trucks to get rid of the snow, they don't have salt supplies to be able to melt any of the snow. It's bad. Yeah, exactly, Maureen. Yes, there are a lot of places where it gets weird. Oh, thanks. Thank you for that, getting the weather changed. Yep, see, it's important. I don't know if you know this, but Canadians actually have weather powers. They're actually supernatural. Canada was actually settled by aliens back in the 1800s, so I'm just making stuff up at this point. Oh man, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds crazy. Totally believable. So Canadians apologize a lot so that we'll think they're friendly and won't suspect that they're actually aliens. That's actually the secret. I'm surprised you didn't know that. Okay, so where was I? So manage tags. We have this page set up. There we go. That gets us that. We have a quick way to that. So first things first, I don't know what I'm doing on this branch, so I'm gonna make a temp branch. And I'm not kidding, I really do recommend this. If you start making some changes and you don't know exactly what you're gonna do yet, just make a temp branch and commit to that. And the reason I say that is because branches are so lightweight in Git that I will just make a new one, and that's effectively a branch rename. So feel free to just make one. That way you're not accidentally committing on master or anything like that. Add site management dashboard. There we go. And pro tip: when you do create those temporary branches like this, don't click publish. Don't push them out. Don't push them out to GitHub or anything, or your central repository, whatever it is. Yeah. Did someone? Oh yeah. Sorry about that. Yes. As Janiscu mentions, coins are required to play the various games in the chat room. But it's easy to get coins. You can stay around and watch the stream a little bit, and you will get coins as you wait here. Follow is supposed to get you coins, or you can just say, "Hey S&B, will you bonus me some coins?" Because actually, any of our moderators can just bonus coins to people at any point. So, speaking of which, hang on one second. I need to do a quick thing in chat. And there we go. Done. We already get, and one other one. Hang on. There we go. 910 coins is enough to actually, to do a lot of stuff. So, I don't know yet necessarily everything we're going to do with coins. It's a long-term thing. I just wanted to put them in because they're kind of fun. They give people something to do. And it gives you some kind of a record. Buy mod. Yeah, exactly, Maureen. You just buy moderator status. That's how that works. Okay. So we have edit channel, and we've added tags. Let me go ahead and do this. Let's go to our calendar page for now. So we made a basic calendar page, hype, and on the calendar page we do a fairly simple thing. Essentially what you do is, on the calendar page, you pick the place where you are. Whoops, not United Nations, what? United States, and you pick where you are. So maybe you live in Eastern Time in the United States, and once you do that, you come up with streams that happen on that day. So today there's supposed to be a stream on DevChatter. Hey, imagine that. And by that I mean there is one. It's today. It's right now. Time's a little bit wrong because I started like 40 minutes late, but meh. For those of you that don't know, I've actually missed a bunch of streams because I've been sick. But I was determined to stream today, so we are. Okay, so clearly this is not the ending display. This is just demonstrating that we can pull the data. We're calling a web API controller in our site, and we're returning back the data. The next thing that we want to do is we want to choose to be able to filter based on tags as well. So now there's a couple of ways we can do this. We could make it so that there's some limited number of tags you can select that you want to see. I think in this case, Wrath, welcome. Thanks for following. Hopefully now that you're following the stream, my freezing cold temperatures and your boiling hot temperatures will be able to merge together, and we'll have a comfortable moderate temperature here in the channel. So everyone can hope. How would you localize the time format in a Razor page? Maury, we're not going to. So we're actually going to call that back, and we're actually going to use... my brain's not working. The JavaScript library that I'm going to come up with the name of it because I've used it forever at this point. It's the JavaScript Moment.js. That's it. I got it. Moment. Brain eventually gets there. Thanks, S&B. Yeah, I already got it. But yeah, Moment.js to be able to put it in the correct time. Because we will have your time zone. You have already selected it, so it is going to be super easy to put it in the time zone you mentioned. So we hopefully will be able to use that to guess your time zone without you telling us, but will display based on what you chose. So that way you as the user have the power to adjust it. So for example, if I know I'm going to be at a conference and I'm like, oh, you know, or I'm traveling for work and I'm going to be stuck in a hotel room for like 8 hours with nothing to do, who's streaming that day? I can go look at that and I can choose the time zone for where I'm going to be. So those kinds of things. There are a lot of scenarios that come up, so it's just, I think it's generally better to choose the one that you want. Schedule United Nations, yeah. Coding Karma, I don't know where that United Nations location's supposed to be. Date FNS is also great and has a much smaller bundle size. Oh, I will check that out, Wrath. Also, I should mention to everybody that's in here, feel free to check out our Discord. We actually have a reasonably active Discord. We have like 400 some people in it at this point, and so if you do want to be able to chat with other developers that are interested in coding open source projects, C#, JavaScript, and various other languages, Discord links in the chat as well as down below the stream. There's actually a lot of us in there, so if you want to chat with any of us about that kind of stuff outside the stream, it's a great place to do it. And that's a good place to make suggestions for projects and things like that of cool libraries, like, for example, Date FNS, which to be honest, I don't know that one. There are too many libraries to keep track of all of them. UN is in Europe, basically, but it's not really a country, which is... yeah, I don't know what the time zone would be. So let me actually... That's a great question. There is no time zone for the United Nations, so we should not even include that in the list. That is stupid. That is worthless. I wonder if there's a way we can easily filter that out of the list. We will have to look into that. Anyway, okay, so that's the calendar page. We want to get... I want to get our tags set up. Now here's what I'm thinking. Now maybe I'm crazy. I kind of feel like it might be a good idea to have included and excluded tags. Be able to choose both of them. Hey Simon, greetings, welcome. And I think that that's what we'd probably want on the search, because you might want to exclude tags. For example, some people might want to okay, example, which I'm gonna go to Twitch to show all of you. Hang on one second. Let me just pull that off the screen for a second. Where is this? I'm looking around in the settings of Twitch right now. Oh, yeah, it's in channel, I think. Ah, here we go. Oh, it moved and it's in my dashboard now. Okay. But where is it? Okay. Here we go. I don't know why it linked me to AutoHost for that. It did. But here's what I want all of you to know about when we're talking about Twitch. So there is a little toggle here for mature content. So I actually think we will have a tag for this. Or a checkbox maybe, I don't know. But in some way, I could see some people won't care whether or not there's mature content on the stream, and some people will. So usually, so my stream, I don't turn this on, which is why you're unlikely to hear me swearing on the stream, despite the fact that outside the stream you'll probably hear me swearing sometimes. Not like I'm not like. Let's put it this way: I have mentioned to some of my guests before they've been on the stream. Those that I know do quite a bit of swearing and other things like that. I'm like, yeah, I don't check that box because I don't want people to have that prompt when they come in here. So I'd rather the channel just be easier and more approachable for people. I don't want to like exclude anyone if I can avoid it, and so we don't check that box. So we don't do that kind of stuff here. But obviously, someone that doesn't want to see mature content probably is going to want to be able to filter that out when looking for a stream. Yeah, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe. I want to filter out Python from my... yeah, so actually you'll be able to do that with the way we're setting up these tags. You'll be able to filter out Python. How many coins do I need for a Sailormouth stream? Yeah, so... I'm not planning on doing that because, as I said, I don't want to have to tick that box. And let's see. Turn the parent vocab filter on. Yes, exactly. So Simon hit it precisely. So I believe the actual term for that is called code switching, which is when you use different language depending on the audience that you're around. So you'll notice a lot of people that will swear all the time until there's a kid anywhere in their peripheral vision, line of sight, anywhere at all. If there's a kid that they know is around them, all of a sudden, no swear words. So that's kind of the idea. Is like. A lot of us, get used to doing that kind of thing. It's like, oh, yep, my language will shift because I'm not going to be the one that does that. So, okay. Cool. Wait, what? Spain gets me 3 time zones. I didn't know that. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're all currently in use. That just means that at some point 3 time zones have existed for the country of Spain. That's actually how that works. One thing I'd like to do is see if we can't filter out time zones that are not currently in use, because we're only looking for events that are current and in the future. We're not looking at the past. So another thing I want to filter out there. Let's take a look at our coding though. Okay. So I mentioned to you I want to steal our tagging stuff. So I have 2 options. I can either try to make this into a component, or I can just copy pasta it, which means I want to make it into a component. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to copy pasta it, figure out what differs, and make the component based on that, but and figure out what I need to do. But that's the basic idea, is I want to be able to pull this as a piece. So for now, what I'm going to do is not actually use this. I'm not really copy pasting it. I just want to get the structure in here. Form group date picker, and then that's the list of events. So this is what I meant when I said we're not really doing it. We're just sort of pulling the data, and I just kind of shoved it into a UL at the bottom of the page. That's literally all it is for now. So we did nothing with that. Our div is going to need we're going to put in the class form group still. which is a fairly standard class in basically all the ASP.NET pages automatically put it in. Oh, so many business jargon jokes you could make, none of them suitable for publication. Yeah, exactly, Simon. I'm more worried about kids saying microservice. Yeah, so I'm also not too worried about it, but some people are, and I respect that. That's fine. Exactly, Coding Karma. Yep, that's the idea. I don't know that I turn it off 100%, but I try not to swear much on the stream. So if people remember me swearing a whole bunch on the stream, then cool. I don't. Okay, so for Ajax, that's funny. ID Ajax. Why did we call it Ajax? Is that what we? Hang on. Let me open up I want to open up my JavaScript here for a second. I'm surprised by this. No. Okay. We never used that anywhere. It's called Ajax for some reason. I don't know why. That's weird. I might have to ask David about that one. He might have been the one that set that. Okay, so this is the JavaScript that is actually included on that page. The pieces that we need. So we have a multi-select component that we're already using, but we are using it in an interesting way. So first off, here's what we have to do to use that component. We have to include it on. We have to put it here. We're going to have to include it on the page by actually referencing the JavaScript file. Also, Matrixter, welcome. Thanks for following. Much appreciated. And anyone else that's in chat that hasn't clicked the follow button yet, if you're enjoying the stream at all, do be sure to click that follow button. It really is the best way to get notified when we go live here on the stream. I try to keep to my regular schedule, but at least while I've been sick here, I have not been as consistent as I was, obviously, for the previous part of the year. As we, averaged about 3 streams a week for the course of a year. That's pretty good. Rate of swearing is normally inversely proportional to the number of outstanding bugs and user stories and the proximity. Yeah, Simon. So since I don't have a shipping date, that's probably what zeroes it out for me. Okay, so this right here should include that component for me. I also need to include it on the page. So what I'm going to do is this. Excuse me. There's our multi-select stuff right there. And I'm going to jump over to the calendar page, and in my script section here, I'm going to include that as well. So the fact that I've now used this in 2 places does bring up a question of whether or not we should be doing something with that. Including the same script in 2 places definitely raises some idea that we should maybe look into this. Certain users can provoke muttered swearing in devs. Yeah. Alright, fun story. I used to work with a developer that almost every morning would come into the office and would open up source control and see essentially what had been destroyed by some developers working in another time zone, and so had committed while we were not in the office, and it would basically just the morning would just be him yelling and swearing about that guy's name because, well, he would essentially just break everything because of massive incompetence. So that was our morning, was just screams from a team room. Ooh, you might know that project. It is possible. She may actually know that project. Can I link a picture? Maureen, super relevant, safe for work. I don't remember if I can just permit you to do that, but feel free to link it, and I can open it up. Even if you get, I was gonna say, even if you get blocked, I can still get to the link. Let's see. I know we've all hit that kind of stuff, and if here we go, I can advertise our Discord. We actually have a rants section in our Discord for all those things that. Okay, yeah, he was right. That is safe for work. For user, yeah, this was when people use your program, they don't always use it the way you expect them to. So kind of funny. And yes, so Fuel Snable, yeah, some of us sigh, some of us yell. And S&B is correct. The rants is definitely the most popular channel in the Discord, because of the fact that, well, as developers, we run into some of the most interesting things. And anytime you bring up something, someone else is going to be reminded of some similar thing. No. That is actually not the. Turns out she does not know which project I'm talking about. You would have needed to talk with. I thought you might have. So she knows enough of. So it was that group that I'm talking. It was that group of people. But I was not working for that company at the time that was being yelled. So she is not correct about what was causing that yelling. So it's funny, even when you know what organization someone's talking about, like which companies, when you know the projects they've worked on, you don't always know that. So if any of you don't know, we actually worked together for a while. Actually, C# Fritz worked with us as well. So that's actually how a bunch of us know each other. Has everyone seen Bohemian Rhapsody? I actually haven't seen it yet, Simon. I want to see it at some point, but I've not seen it yet. Okay, so I brought this onto this page. This is not the label. We'll say included tags. This is for included tags, which is defined right there, so no more complaints. So it is the label for this one, and it is called included, space tags. The model is not going to be model.tags, it's going to be, we don't have a model object we're pushing up do we? Yeah, we are going to. So I will say included tags. Model.included tags. Label, name, track by ID, placeholder, open direction bottom, options. Excuse me. Options, tags. Yes, that's going to be correct. We want that to be there. Multiple, searchable. Is loading tags. Yeah, it loads all the tags at once. They can be based on the same variable. Internal search, false. Clear on select is true. Close on select is false. Options limit to 300. Limit 3. Site 600. Unchanged tag search. Be on search change. Do a tag search. This is not the one so we need these to be separate. We'll say included tag search. Option remove. The template's going to be the same for these two. Spanners has no unless found query. Okay, so that looks right. So here's the pieces we need to add out of this. We need to have model included tags. We need to have tags. And we need isLoading tags, and then we need a method called included tag search. So let's take a look at those. So first off, I need to have model, which we will go ahead and just make right off the bat. So there's model. The next thing that I need is tags, and tags is going to be a collection, or an array in this case. We need isLoading tags. This is going to be, I don't remember if we want to default that to true or false. I'll have to think about that. Oh, whoa, what happened in chat? I wasn't paying attention. What a super group. I agree, Maureen. We have an awesome group of people here. Very, very awesome group. Yes, I like Rami Malek also. I've linked to the tweet. Simon, it might get blocked, but toss it in Discord. Oh, yeah, SMB said toss in Discord. Yeah. So our Discord is actually a great place actually for discussion. So if you are interested in chatting about dev stuff, that is the place to do it. I believe Carrie just posted probably the what was in the tweet. And I like her twitter.com/thing. Actually, she should be able to. I believe she can link without getting blocked by the bot. With a VIP status, I'm guessing Nightbot won't block you from linking. But I'm not 100% on that. So if it yells at you, sorry. Okay, so there's the tag. We need included tag search. Now, if you're wondering, why do we need two separate searches? Hey, see, she can link. Awesome. There we go. The reason we need two is because of this. So I'm going to show you the existing one. So if you look at tag search, what happens is this. When it comes back, it sets the tag's value when it's searching. Actually, that's a good question. What's going to happen when we do that? Binding to that data. Well, we'll find out. I'm gonna do tag search. We're gonna do this one, and we're gonna hope it doesn't get weird. There's one bug I'm concerned about, and we're gonna check and see if it exists. So who knows? 42. That's the answer. That was what we needed. Included tag search. So we're just gonna do is tag search. And thank you for the videos, very much appreciated. We love the hype in chat today. It's good stuff. Tag search. There we go. Tag search. Do that. We're gonna pull tags. Filter is the value it gets passed in. We're gonna send that up, and hopefully that works. Included tags is supposed to be on the model, although we don't actually have it there yet. So you know what? I'm actually just gonna put it there. Because why not? Hey, Stoolpenner with the 6-month resub. Rawr. Whoa, yeah, 6 months. You have hatched from your egg, my friend. You are now a full-blown adolescent Chatosaurus. So, woohoo! That is some hype right there. You gotta love the Chatosauruses. They are derpy and hypey and fun. All right, so included tags. So we're just gonna put that in there for now. That's the basic included tags. So we're only doing included right now. I think that might work. We're gonna try reloading the page. Included tags. No, that doesn't work. some kind of error going on here. Yep, there we go. View warning. We can open a view if we want to, but I'm betting the error is right here. Tag search is not defined. Did I not make tag search? Hang on. Tag search. Inside the methods. Tag search. It's right here. What you smoking? Tag search method is not defined on the instance. Putska. Yes, I agree. I also love that they're programming streams on Twitch. And if that's something that you like, then you would actually really like the website that we're working on, which is one that is specifically designed to promote programming streams on Twitch. Simon, yes, that I believe that is expected. No need to apologize on that one. Obviously, I haven't gotten to my stuff either. I've been sick, so make sure there's a property in. Make sure that this property is reactive either in the data option or for the class-based component. You know what? Tag search.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome whoever just followed. I will read that in a second and find out. I just want to not break my concentration right now. Oh, wait, hang on. I did this in the wrong place. I derped the heck out of this. Derpy derp. 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 Derpy. What? Actually, that's right there. Tag search function filter.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Oh, Putska, yes, welcome. Thanks for following, much appreciated. And Danny Camps Games, welcome. Thanks for following as well. Hey, Jesse Skinner, good afternoon. Love it when people stop by, follow, say hi. Greetings. Hopefully you're all having a good one. Streams calendar. Hang on a second. Just make sure I didn't make any other changes to that. Hit channel. Yeah, that change is fine. This one, what did we do? We added in that. We created this, referenced that, added a model, added events tag. We adjusted events tags. Edited is loading. We added in a tag search. Let me just make sure I'm not crazy there. And just to be certain, I'm going to do one of these. And yes, greetings. Speaking of which, when we do eventually get partner in here, which sadly has taken me a lot longer than than I was hoping for, I am going to get an emote to replace the both the you know, O slash as well as the 07. I would love to have both of those with our you know, our little, you know, Chatosaurus. We got to figure out how to do a salute with his little grabber arms. I don't know how we're going to do that one, but it should be an interesting one. Either way, doing a quick restart, we're going to do a full refresh of the page, and it's still going to warn me about that. Okay, so let's... Property method is not defined on the instance. Let's open up Vue instead. Let's see if Vue gives me a better error. No, nothing better. We must have done something weird. Hang on. I'm actually working on implementing some jQuery to my Rails application. Do you have a community help solve? Yes. Discord. Yep. Exactly, yes. S&B's disclaimer there is perfect. provided that someone actually knows and is able to assist. This basically comes down to, hey, if the community is able, willing, and knowledgeable to help, then you might get an answer that's valuable there. Wait a minute. Yep. Fixed. That was a derp right there, huh? That error message, that error from Vue was totally worthless. My stuff was just missing. Hey Joshua, greetings, welcome. Okay. There we go. So now I can search based on those included tags. So here's the weird part. So I mentioned this. So we can do included tags right off the bat. That's a pretty easy one. Let's go ahead and make that work a little bit better by actually including that in our request. So we actually have to make a significant change to that. Let me get rid of these just so they don't confuse me anymore. So I don't derp that. When I look at this one, you'll notice I created this model here. Now, the couple of things I want to put on there is I want to move selected date onto that model object. And you might be saying, but why are you doing the model object? Well, the reason I'm doing a model object is because I like the idea of, in my web request, being able to essentially just say, hey, here's all the data that we're sending up in this API call, this JavaScript API call, as one object. Obviously, you don't have to do it that way, but we're going to. Okay, so, selected date change. Can I do this? Actually, you know what? Now I'm gonna check to see whether or not I can do something. Can I do that? Or does it have to be if something changed the model? we might be able to get away with that. Oh, excuse me. I have an idea. Here's what we're going to do. Go into this page. I'm going to pull up the network tab. Instead of checking selected time zone and selected date, I am going to watch the model object for changes. I don't know if it's going to get the nested properties, but I think it might. Huh. Ah, yeah, that's a good point. Do I actually have a thing for that right now? Well, you guys lose. My Stream Deck isn't playing my audio clips right now. I must have messed it up. Oh no, that one works. Okay, so some of them work. I must have messed up one of them because I actually have an audio clip that I wanted to play for that, but no. Okay, so we're just going to try referencing the model there. Joshua's currently installing Ubuntu. Fun stuff. I actually have not run Linux as my primary OS in quite a while. Property selected date is not defined on the instance, but refers... selected... Oh, yes, of course. I knew I was changing this. That was the intention, but I didn't go and adjust it yet. Selected country is still like that, but then this one is model dot selected country, or selected time zone, I should say. And then this one is model dot selected date. Model dot selected date. There we go. And that was already model dot included tags. So there we go. All right. Let's find out if those errors just disappeared. Hey, there we go. Errors are gone. So United Kingdom time. It didn't detect the reference. It didn't detect the change. So it's not detecting the change on the model object because we're changing the nested properties, and that's what I wasn't sure about. We need to get the nested properties. VueJS watch properties of watch properties. Maybe say nested property. There we go. Nested variable, nested property. How to properly watch for nested data. That seems like what we're doing. So in Vue, we can watch things, and essentially that's like saying, hey, I'm gonna react whenever that value changes, and watching our model didn't work. Ooh, let's see. Use a deep watcher for that. Ah, that's interesting. If you don't want to watch for every change on the top level and just want a less awkward syntax for watching nested objects directly, oh, watch a computed value. Oh, that's a reasonable idea, actually. That is a really reasonable idea. Okay, let's do that for now. Although I guess if the model is any of the filtering data, we could do this. So let's do that. So we're gonna grab that code, and that apparently is a, they're calling it a deep watcher in this. So that'll work. A couple of things I want to mention because I'm sure there are some new people here. Welcome, hello, my name is Brendan. This channel is DevChatter. We usually do about 4 streams a week here on the channel. It's quite a bit of fun. Feel free to click the follow button if you're enjoying the stream at all. If you want to chat with me or any of the other viewers here on DevChatter when we're not streaming, best place to do that's our Discord. I've linked that over in the chat. You can find links down below. We're actually doing an open source project right now that's out on GitHub, so you can actually find all of this code out there if you want to follow along or contribute. It's at github.com/devchatter. So welcome, greetings. I am getting back to this code right now. So real quickly, I just want to jump back here. I'm going to add in my compute. No, we're not doing computed. We're doing a watch. So we're going to put that code in there. So on our model object, instead of doing this, what we're going to do is this. So I'm going to do model. Put in my object here, and I always put in the ending comma here no matter what. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Hey, Nikki Supro, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. So greetings, and thank you for the tier 1 sub, much appreciated. Let's get some hype in the chat. Hey, thank you, S&B. Hype. Okay, so there we go. So our model is right here, and we've said deep equals, we've assigned the value true to the property deep, which in this case, hopefully will tell it to actually watch all the nested properties of our model object in Vue. So thank you, Stack Overflow, for answering all of the questions on the internet that we ever had, even if you didn't do it well every time. Okay, so let's choose another place, because clearly we can't be in the United Kingdom all the time. We're going to Romania with Eastern European time, and it's still not updating. We're going to have to check out why it's not updating. I am definitely streaming in their time zone, so it should be. Are we getting... Hang on. Let's clear out. Are we getting the... Are we actually getting the calls? Nope. So it's not actually watching that property, so it didn't really do it. Well, in that case, we're doing the computed event approach. Computed it is. Actually, to confirm before I save any of that, let me just check the data here. Model? Yep, model really does have the values. I can see them right here. It has selected date and selected time zone, so since that really is changing as I switch these around, I do know that the value of our model object is adjusting, and I was hoping that that deep property we put on there would have fixed it. Senzuki, yeah, no problem. Welcome back. Speaking of which, welcome back, everyone. Glad you're all here. We are working on a community site that we're building here on the stream. It is designed to support the community of developer programming streamers. And yes, Simon, we are going to bind to a function. We're going to bind to a computed value. I was debating which one we wanted to do, and we are going to go with that one. So that will be binding to a function effectively. Anyway, so this is a community site for finding developer streams. So if you are a developer streamer and you want to tell people when your stream is, what it's about, that sort of thing, this site is where you can do that. Doesn't matter whether you're streaming on Twitch, YouTube. You could be streaming on Facebook for all we care. But the idea being, if you want to promote your stream, this would be a place to do it. And then in addition, we want anyone looking for a stream to be able to go here and find streams that are happening at specific times. So that's actually what we're looking at right now, is making it so that this page can nicely display that content. Greetings, welcome to hey Romania. I think I just used Romania as my example, so that's awesome. And greetings and welcome. Suzuki, what language are you coding in right now? So this is JavaScript, and this is Razor, and the backend page of this is C#. So we're using C#, Razor, and JavaScript are the main things that we're programming in right now. I am not programming in Romanian. That is not correct. Okay, so we said we were going to do a computed value. So what that means, since I don't have a computed section here, I'm going to go ahead and make one. Now, this is part of VueJS. The idea of having a computed section is just, that's something it can have. And in here are going to be computed values. So essentially, this is like for getter-only property type methods. So this is a value. It's treated kind of like a data object, but it's known to be computed from the data, is sort of the way it works. The Stack Overflow question we were looking at gave us an example of doing that, and that is the idea that you just make your computed method here that returns back the value you want from your data, and then you can do that. Obviously, I said computed from the data, but it could return a time, for example, if you wanted. So you could have a computed value that was like time, and you could bind to time if you wanted to show a clock on the page, for example. You could totally do that. Okay, so we're going to watch a computed value, which we're going to do like that. So let's go do it. Computed. We want to have a computed value that we're going to call included tags. And I like the end comma, just so for a couple of reasons. And actually, I can show you all why I like the end comma. So if you look right here, this is our get change view, right? This is how we can see what changed. This is our diff right here, and you'll see that it lists a change on this line here, this events line, where all I did was add the comma so I could continue the rest of the code. Whereas realistically, that didn't really change, and so that's why I like having the trailing comma on the ends of my sets of data, because it makes it so that these don't get confused. So it's a little bit nicer there, and then it's also, I can take any line and just duplicate it, even the last line, and everything still compiles without any extra work from me. The X-type, hello, greetings, welcome. Sounds good. You're programming in JS also, and you try to make some commands for Discord bot coded. Oh, yeah, nice. A lot of people program in JavaScript. There are so many good languages out there. I do want to make clear to everyone that's here that if you program in a language and anybody ever tells you, hey, why aren't you programming in this? This one's better. Don't ever worry about that. Program in whatever language you want to. Like, obviously, make a deliberate choice to choose one that's good for what you're doing, for whatever your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish. But beyond that, there are so many good answers for that. You can really just pick whichever one you like. So don't let anyone tell you which thing you have to do. So we're gonna do that. Included tags. Ooh, do I do it that way? Let me go S. Or do we just put in the value? Watch. Oh, weird. Do they actually do it like that? That'd be strange. Oh man, I think you might. Syntax cleared up on that. Okay, if that's how you do it, that'll be weird. Okay. So that'll be included tags, and we'll do selected date and selected time zone. That's very strange if that's actually how you... We're about to find out if this is the syntax for it. If that is, I'm weirded out already. So all three of those are going to do that, which is fine. There's actually another way I could write that, but I'm not going to. Hey, Brandon, greetings, welcome. Let me go ahead and load this. We're just going to find out if that worked or not. Hey, that worked. Okay, great. And when I change this, that value should change. Oh, selected time zone was assigned, but there's no setter. Something must still be referencing selected time zone. So I must have left something out here that was not correct. Nope, I left it here. This.selected time zone. Yep, there it is. When I reset this watch on selected country, I did not get that. Select new time zones and model selected country has to get selected time zone has to get reset. Yeah, that's interesting. We're not passing up the model yet, which is what's creating this problem right now. So that's why I'm having to reference that, is because we haven't completed our change yet. We're adjusting how this works, and the middle step is not quite right. So there we go. Ooh. Do we just not have data on that one? Oh. Actually, that's a good point. Maybe we just don't stream then. That's funny. Hang on one second. Oh, yeah, it's the next day, so that must be far enough in the future. Brandon! VueJS, yes! VueJS love right there. I agree. So VueJS is actually what we use here on the stream. That's why I thought you'd like it. I was like, you'd like my stream. I derped through some JS. So it's good stuff. S&B, that's correct. The deep watch did not work, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. Where do I sign up for progressive web apps in Perl? Maureen, I have no idea where you're going to find that one. But I'm sure someone does it. Yeah, as Simon says, it wasn't happy for some reason. And I don't know what that was. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to clear out the events. It should, when I make one of these changes... So there's my filter check. So that was finding tags. It has found it. I'm going to add a tag, and it should have found events. There's a new call for events that it just did, passing in the data. We want to actually make this do a new call. You did a progressive web app in ASP.NET Core, and it was easy. Awesome, S&B, yeah. So progressive web apps should be very easy to make in ASP.NET Core, and I've heard of some people making them with Blazor now, which is actually kind of weird. Don't know what that's going to be like, but cool stuff all the same. So, okay, so this shows that our included tags is now part of what triggers the request to get our list of events. So good stuff there. Now we need to send the correct data. So remember I said this was incomplete, and so even though I was just fixing it to get rid of the errors, it's not quite right. So in here, we have fetch events, and we're calling it up. We're just passing these like this right now, but that's not what we want to do. We want to actually send a real payload, so here's what we're going to do. We're gonna go steal our other code. Ooh, do we post to get the data? We're gonna get a response. I think I will. We're gonna do it. So when we fetch events, we will post up some data to get what we're looking for. And we're gonna call to API/events. Instead of passing up the time zone, we're going to pass up the model, and then our response, we're going to assign the events object. There we go. That's a significant change. Okay. So that also simplifies this because we're no longer doing our weird like URL manipulation stuff, which I'm happy about. This does mean that the... Oh, whoops, hang on. Wait. I needed to use the local values. Time zone ID was fine. Yeah, S&B, we could make this a progressive web app if we wanted to, but I don't think we're going to. Trying to think this one through. So here's the challenge that we're trying to think through. The local date object right here, we pass this up as part of our data. We're trying to pass up our model object. So I was hoping to just have all the data be right here. Now, what we can do is hang on. Maybe this will just work. Let's try sending the data. We'll just see what we get on the server side. We might be sending the right thing. I didn't want to go there. Close that. So we have that value. Let's just skip it. We won't use local date. Let's get rid of this piece. Chancing it. We're chancing it. Here goes. So we're just going to post up the model object, hope that it gets us the right thing. Our time zone ID was coming from the model anyway, so we don't have to deal with that. Local date is taking the... It should be model.selected date. Shouldn't it? Oh, it was using the calculated value one. Probably was using the computed value or something like that. Selected this model, selected date. Should work just fine, passing that up. And then on the server side, we need to modify the API. So let's go over to our controllers in our ASP.NET site. We're going to go to the events controller, and we're going to change two things about it. So first off, it's taking these properties here. I don't want it to do that. I now need this to take in some kind of class object, so I'm quickly just going to make a class here. What are we going to call this? Events request model. So this is the model for request for events, and it is going to have a property that is a string time zone ID and a date time local date time. And then the last thing is a list. So we're going to say a list of tag view models that we'll call included tags. Okay. So this is what we receive, and it's not a get anymore, it's now a post. So HTTP post and it's going to take in one of these that we're going to call model. Request model, request model. Call it request model. Now here's the trick. I believe since we're doing it this way, I have to put square braces from body on that to let it know to actually search in the data for this. Now that we have that, I just need to adjust these to be request model.timeZoneID and request model.localDateTime. And step 1 is going to be stopping the site and restarting it, which we have running here in VS Code. We decided to use Visual Studio today. We use both VS Code and Visual Studio frequently here on the channel. I generally pick one or the other based on whether I think I'm going to do more C# or more JavaScript, which of course, without doubt, always means whichever one I thought it was going to be, I've chosen wrong, and it's going to be the other one. But either way, we get to do a little bit of both, which is nice for anyone that wants to see both of those things. We got a 500 error on our post. So initial thing went wrong. We did not... Wait, undefined. What? Hang on. We toss a debugger in our catch there, and why didn't we catch that? I thought our debugger would catch there. Can I not debugger here? Unexpected debugger statement. Okay, seems like I can't do it there. Oh, that's the tag search. Whoops, I meant this one. There we go. I put it in the wrong place. Okay. Does it say anything interesting? Request failed with status code 500. Okay. Yeah, internal server. Do you have anything else with it, though? No, that doesn't really help. Data. Yes, what was the actual error? Something wrong with node time, it looks like. I don't think it was actually a problem with the node time. I think it was our problem. Although I love the fact that C users skeet test is somewhere in that. That's funny. Hey, yeah, take care. And let me know if you were planning on sending any pull requests on anything. Feel free to check out the issues section, and let me know if there's anything interesting you want to work on. And you were off by 1. That is the perfect developer way of putting the answer in there. You're off by 1. And yes, Maureen, I probably should whip out Postman, but meh. Okay, actually, I think instead of doing that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hop over here, the events controller, drop a breakpoint there, and see what gets passed up. Since I would be doing this anyway, whether calling it from Postman or not, I'd probably want to get to the server side and see what the heck went wrong. Go to the calendar page, and boom, we're already up here. What's in our request model? So we don't have any included tags, that's fine. Local date time did not fill in, neither did the time zone ID. That's not terribly surprising, so none of that data came up. Let's include the C# tag. Request model, do you have anything? Or did we send up nothing? Okay, so the tag came up. So we have the tag. The time zone ID isn't coming up. We must have called it something. Maybe we called it time zone instead of time zone ID. I bet that's what it is. I bet it's just an issue of making those names match. On our model object, it is... Oh, selected time zone and selected date. Yep, that's what they are. That was derpy on my part. I messed that up. So that is selected time zone and... whoops, hang on. Selected date. So, selected time zone, selected date, there we go. Now it should suddenly work. I'm betting. James Harries, welcome, greetings. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Why am I getting a phone call? I don't need a phone call. And greetings, person from Portugal. Hi from the United States. You're a beginner on C#. I do have some advice for learning C#. Write code with it. There's so much that you can do with C# because it is a very general purpose programming language. You can do mobile apps, web apps, console apps. You can do just regular GUI applications with WinForms, WPF, UWP, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of stuff out there. There are plenty of good resources for finding out about C#. If you are someone that learns well from books, there are some good book recommendations for learning C# down below the stream in the panels. As Plain Reality mentions, I think a lot of the bad rap that C# gets is because it is a language created by Microsoft, which immediately turns some people off. But I will tell you that, like, the people that build it, they are programming nerds like the rest of us. It's not like this is some corporate Microsoft person that is developing this. They're devs just like the rest of us. So that's the silly part about it. Yes, I know the connection's not private. I don't really have a certificate, I have a self-signed certificate locally. Okay, good. So we have an event, and we're now able to pass in tags as well. So all that data is getting passed. Hooray, hooray. Awesome. And yes, .NET Core. So yeah, that's one of the other big things that was mentioned there. Make sure you're using .NET Core. It's the future of C# and .NET. Don't use the full framework stuff. Use mostly .NET Core if you can. Obviously, you might not be able to, depending on your circumstances. But .NET Core, it's lighter weight, it's faster. You're really gonna want to dig into that one. It will make you very happy as a dev. And yes, that suggestion of I love the suggestion of making something that's useful, and that is actually correct. Carrie's mentioning. So my courses on DevIQ about C# are more about learning the new stuff that's in it rather than a full explanation of C# as a language. So for a beginner, my courses on DevIQ are not really targeted at you. Not that you can't get value out of them, but you can. And so the one suggestion, if you want to learn a language, build an application in it, build something that interests you and is useful to you. And the reason I say that is that's what's going to keep you engaged in it. If you aren't interested in what you're building, if it doesn't have value to you in some way other than just as a learning exercise, you might stop working on it. And that's what you want to avoid. You want to make sure you can consistently work on it and be interested. So when people talk about like, oh yeah, devs, they got to be working on stuff all the time. No, you're going to burn out if you're just like, code all the time. You have to do stuff that otherwise interests you. So that's the big thing. If you're studying game design, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, so game design is a very ambitious and awesome thing. You're going to want to take a look at Unity. I would, and yeah, Yeah, see, Simon, we're thinking along the same lines there. You're going to want to take a look at Unity. It is actually a framework for building games in C#, so it's very cool. And I would also agree, start off in 2D. It's going to be much easier to figure out. Just build a simple 2D game. Doesn't really have to be fun, doesn't really have to have a point, but just build something. That's the biggest thing when learning anything. Oh, Maury, yeah, so I always recommend people start with .NET Core until you end up with a requirement that's going to force you into full framework, and because it's easy to make the switch between them. It's not fun to make the switch, but it's easy to do if you need to. And plain reality's right. Don't go too large. Build a small thing first. Coding Karma, I don't know Love 2D, but I'm sure it is good. There are so many good frameworks out there for stuff. Okay, so cool. This seems to work. If there's a bug, I haven't found it yet. So I'm going to commit this because this lets us pick them even if we aren't applying them yet. Actually, maybe we can apply it. Let me see how hard it's going to be. Request model.included tags. Let me try doing this. We're going to add in a parameter to that list of tag view models. Nope. We're going to change up how we called that, as not how I want to do it. We're going to do this. Tag IDs. Included tag IDs. Included tag IDs. Select tag ID. There we go. That ought to be simple enough to work. WFirePT, welcome. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. And I also noticed, what is that? I'm guessing ticks. I think I missed that one a couple of minutes ago, but welcome. Thanks for that follow, much appreciated. Can someone tell me what is .NET Core? Yeah, so .NET Core. That explanation. It's an open source version of .NET, and it works both on Windows and Linux. Also works on Mac OS, and works on .NET Full. Let's see this. Like the main difference. Yeah, so that's a really good explanation. It's essentially a lightweight open source version of .NET. It's going to be pretty much the same thing, but it is technically a separate framework. So they made a standard to which both .NET Core and .NET Framework both follow for specific versions. The idea being that you can either build your application as a .NET Core application or a .NET Framework application, and that's kind of which environment it's supposed to run on. So if your application says, hey, I'm going to run in .NET Core, that means you can run on Mac, Linux, Windows. If you say .NET Framework, you can only run on Windows. It also means that you're going to bring a lot of the old baggage with you. So the .NET Framework has been around for, we're nearing almost 20 years that it has existed. It's quite a long time for a framework to be around, and it picks up some baggage. .NET Core just started a couple of years ago, and so because of that, it's lightweight. And actually, I'm technically lying about that. Just started a couple of years ago, especially if you know the history of where it actually came from. But it's much more recent. Its actual use, its release version's only a few years old. So not totally lying, depending on how you define when it exists. Ernie Oak, requirements to become a Microsoft MVP. I actually haven't been in it. So I first got Microsoft MVP award over a decade ago. and I was a Microsoft MVP for a number of years, but I did drop out of the Microsoft MVP program and haven't been in it in a while. The requirements usually are that you do a lot of stuff for the community. They usually like a broad base of things that you do, but for a targeted area. So the idea being that you need some kind of a focus. So so MVPs used to be an MVP for a specific thing. Like you might be an ASP.NET MVP, for example, was a thing before. And welcome, Dr. Grumpy. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. For MVP, I think you need to have a lot of MS certificates in certain learning paths. No, you don't actually need to have any certificates from Microsoft. It's about community engagement. Brandon, have a good one. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully I'll be able to catch your next stream. But either way, have a good one. .NET Framework is the new VB6 runtime. I won't totally give you that one, Simon, but yes, it's definitely on the way out. Is said that you can be dropped out. So the idea is I basically, for a few years, stopped doing any kind of community stuff in the Microsoft world. I kind of burned out a little bit, and so I dropped out of the program. The funny thing being that I still attended most of the MVP events because I still am involved in some other insider groups within Microsoft. So I still end up at a lot of those. So funny thing being, people were often surprised when they're like, wait a minute, you're not an MVP? I'm like, no, I actually haven't been in a while. And they're like, oh, okay, that's weird. It's like, yeah, so... and yes, as Kevin mentioned there, MVPs are active community members, so not necessarily a measure of your expertise. So yes, they're people that run big open source projects. They do a lot of speaking, blogging, streaming, forum posting. Maybe they're on Stack Overflow a lot. I will say they also could make videos and things like that. As far as I know, Kevin, I don't know anyone that's gotten an MVP award for streaming yet. And so who knows? We'll see. Maybe they'll toss one at me for streaming. I can tell you that I've done more. There's no way that the majority of people that do speaking have had the amount of like engagement in the community and time spent streaming as I had. Like, if you go and speak at a conference, I can tell you you do not get anywhere near the number of hours of engagement that you can get from streaming. So we'll see. It's one of those funny ones. I guess equivalent of Oracle's Java Champion program. It might be. It might be. I don't know what the requirements are to be a Java Champion. I don't know those ones. Okay, so we have included tags there that hopefully added both. Yes, it got both the interface and the implementation class. So there's included tags. When we do this, then include channel where. That. I'm gonna hate myself for this later, but whoops. What are we? X dot schedule stream channel tags. I am totally going to hate myself for this later. And included tag IDs. Wait, hang on. Want to make sure they're all in there. So let's say, yeah, included tag IDs all. as I said, I'm going to hate myself for this one later, but x dot schedule stream channel tags, this is why I'm going to hate myself later, contains, not a channel tag, I don't even know what the awful sequel is that's going to create from this. T. Anywhere T equals, whoops, tag ID equals T. Oh god, that is so bad. Alright, that can't be called X. This is CT. CT. Oh, that is terrible. That is so bad. That is horrifyingly bad. Anyway, I will ignore that for now. Right mouse. What am I working on? I am working on an ASP.NET Core web application that is designed to support the developer streaming community. So the website is going to allow you to both find developer streamers whose streams you are interested in watching, and when they're going to be on, as well as if you are a streamer to be able to tell people about that. So should hopefully make finding streams to watch a little bit easier, because it can let you know what's coming up in the future and not just what is live right now. So that is the end goal here. Let's see if that works. I'm going to restart the bot before we actually do that, but right now I want to take a look at our tags on these, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to just really quickly see which of these. Okay, so these don't have anything on them right now, but this one. So we're going to do this one. TypeScript is not included, so we're going to include streams that should keep it, and then we're going to add TypeScript, which should eliminate it. When we require TypeScript, this one should disappear. When we require something else, it should remain. Okay. We know what we're looking for. Let's restart the site. And yes, I am just running the site in VS Code, hilariously. I have them both running so that I can switch to VS Code if I run into any problems with JavaScript where Visual Studio is being stupid. Because VS Code sometimes does JavaScript a little bit better, but it really comes down to what the actual circumstance is. So we're going to restart this. There we go. It comes up. It brings this one in. Let's add TypeScript to our list, and it disappears. If we put C# in the list, it remains. If we put JavaScript in the list, it remains. If we say English, it remains. And as soon as we add TypeScript, it disappears. So awesome. Perfect. That does exactly what we wanted it to. It clears that out, and that is beautiful. So it looks like that filtering is working. Let's see. Dr. Grumpy, do you have any tips for people who want to start coding? Starting with, some people say starting with Java and going on with C# might be a good idea, so you get the logic behind coding. What are your preferences coming from an expert? Oh, awesome, Dr. Grumpy, I'm glad you like my voice. It's a little scratchy right now because I'm still getting over, being sick and everything like that. But I will tell you, Java and C# are very similar. JavaScript and C# look very similar, even though they're not very similar. So switching between Java and C# is not very difficult in terms of your ability to do it, though you're going to be confused by slight differences in syntax. In terms of starting, I would recommend you start with C# over Java if you're considering either of those. So if you're thinking long-term that you want to be on C#, don't start with Java. There is no reason. C# and Java solve the same problems. So that's what I mean when I say they're similar languages. They work the same way. They have similar syntax. So from a beginner's perspective, if you think you're going to want to go C# in the long run, just learn C#. It is not more difficult to learn than Java. They are, as I said, very similar. Hello, Greendolf. Welcome. And that is the recommendation I would make there. There are a lot of resources on the internet for learning programming languages, and when you are picking which one you want to write, if you want to build, so there are reasons to write Java over C#, and there are reasons to write C# over Java. If, for example, you want to do game development, I would highly recommend you do C# instead of Java. With one of the big reasons being that Unity is a very good way to create games, and it obviously uses C# as its programming language. If you want to make native Android applications, then yeah, you're going to probably do them in Java. That's not to say that if you want to do like hybrid, if you want to do, not hybrid, that's the wrong word, don't say that word, Brendan, because that's not what it is. If you want to build both Android and iOS apps, you could use Xamarin, for example, and that uses C#, but there's a lot of good solutions for all those things. And as Greendorf mentions, depending on how you use a language, sometimes they don't look the same, but the basic syntax between Java and C# is the same, which is why switching between them is easy, but I would argue unnecessary. So as a beginner, if you think you want C#, learn C#. There are some go-to beginner languages, although I think if you can look at C# and generally understand it, I would skip the beginner languages and just jump into one of the more professionally learned languages. Actually, that that suggestion of learning Kotlin for Android is also a reasonable one. Uraker, if you're doing web dev, so I personally use ASP.NET Core for web development. Obviously, you can choose any backend you want for that. Obviously, you could do Node and then everything's JavaScript, depending on what you want to do. And Greendorf's mentioning, so Python is a language that's sometimes good for beginners, but it depends on the beginner. If you find some of the forced syntax of Python to be a challenge, you're better off going somewhere else. But that's some of the big thing. So Kevin, for example, suggesting C#. So for a while, I was doing a series here on the stream. I've actually done it twice now, where we start off and we did some learning to code in C# episodes on the stream here. And you can actually find those videos out on our YouTube channel. There's actually playlists. I linked to the YouTube channel there in the chat, and there's also links down below. But we have playlists of our Learn to Code series that we did here on the stream. So we've done like 9 episodes, I think, where we were teaching beginners how to program in C#. I learned to code as a kid, Senzuki. I was not an adult when I learned to code. And the first programming language that I used was JavaScript, Senzuki, which is funny to say because I've been programming for well over 20 years. I used JavaScript back when JavaScript was new, and it was like, oh hey, there's this cool thing that's coming out, and it's like, oh yeah, this is cool, we're getting a browser language, and it's neat. So you can make websites with like that stuff. So very, very, very fun. That was the coolness factor, was web browser programming is what was neat enough to get me to learn to program. No problem. No, this is called DevChatter. We are here for discussions. So don't worry about asking questions and bringing stuff up. Feel free to chat away there, and don't forget to check out our Discord as well. That's another great place to ask those kinds of questions. I'm amazed that you did not start with C. No, actually, so I did later learn C. C is another one of the early languages that I learned. Yeah. Yep, I learned JavaScript, some basic, some C, some C++. I learned all the old stuff as well. And it's funny to call JavaScript the old stuff, because it really is at this point. JavaScript's older than C#. Even though it's, the new hotness, it's still older than C#. It just didn't become what it is today until this point. Okay, so filter calendar by tags. That's what we're doing here.
Oh, what a day. What a lovely day.
This is going to need refactoring before it comes in, so we're going to leave it on a branch for now. Yeah, see? JavaScript was built in like 95, exactly. And yes, that is true. So syntactically, there are some significant similarities between C, C++, and C#, but the actual way the languages work is significantly different. And yes, see, Navistyles is right. There's an intermediate language that is used by a number of programming languages. So Java and C# both are this type. So C# goes into IL, Java goes into bytecode, and both of them are like assembly code, but not. So they're kind of like this level above things. So they compile, but not into something that's machine runnable. There still needs to be something else there. New branch. This is not called bentemp anymore. This is called tag filtering. Create branch. This branch has a name and thus will get published. So I did not publish my temp branch. We did that only because we didn't know what name we wanted to keep. So I can now get rid of my temp branch. I don't need it anymore. And yes, I would definitely recommend. See, I also agree. See, Navistyles agrees. C# is definitely easier. It's an easier place to start, and there are things where C and C++ are better languages to use, but there are also a lot of places where C# is going to be the better language. C# is significantly closer to C and C++ than Java. Than Java is, I think is what he means there. And Java and C# are pretty close to each other. No, I think he was saying that C# is closer to C and C++ than Java is to that, but who knows? But yeah, Java and C# are getting closer together only because Java is starting to catch up with some of that stuff. Yeah, some languages are harder to pick up than others. Yep, lots of good stuff there. Okay, hang on, let me go ahead and do this. Oh, did I, hang on. That's on my end. I'm certain of it. There we go. And if you are enjoying the stream at all, be sure to click that follow button to make sure you get notified when we go live. And I would also recommend people check out our Discord, well, once I'm able to. And Undone Monk, yes, exactly. Thank you for that follow. That really is the best way to get notified when we go live here on the stream, which we do 4 times a week when I'm not sick. So I stream here on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And I'm trying to get my February guests scheduled in. So let me get links there to our Discord, and then I also wanted to check our uptime. So yeah, so our Discord, if you don't know what Discord is, it's a chat application commonly used by gamers and Twitch streamers. And also by community projects and things like that, community open source projects. It's a common chat application for that. Our Discord actually has a lot of people in it, like 400 some developers. So if you are interested in chatting with me or anyone else about programming stuff when the stream is not going on, Discord is the best place to do that. There's a link over there in the chat as well as down below the stream. We've got a lot of popular channels in there. One of the big ones being our rants channel, which is where people will rant about different stuff that they've run into, usually in a code base or at work or something like that. Obviously not like posting stuff where you'd violate a a confidentiality agreement or something like that, but just funny stuff that goes on in the programming world. So always fun. Let's see. Yes. Exactly. There's a lot of. I noticed the discussion there in the chat about like reference types and things like that. So if you don't know, C# and other things and other languages like it do use pointers. So those same concepts that you'd have in some of the lower level languages like C and C++, where you have pointers to different locations in memory, C# and other languages like it are doing that behind the scenes. So we call them reference types usually, and what that means is you really don't have the object there. What you really have is just a pointer to where the object is stored elsewhere, and that's kind of how that works. So when you pass it around to methods, you're not passing around copies of that object. You're actually just passing around a pointer to that memory location. Is sort of the way it works. It's kind of an interesting idea. But there are actually a lot of cool improvements coming out to C# in the short term. C# 8, we keep getting previews of it. It's going to have some really awesome stuff in it. Nava Styles, either Jerry or Gary, I'm not sure which one. Samek, is that Sama with an XD on the end, or is that SamXD? I'm not sure which. And Boaf, just guessing on these names, but welcome, thanks for following, all of you, greatly appreciated. It's just a safer way to manage memory. Exactly. And I agree, Nava Styles. There's going to be some awesome stuff coming that I am very interested in as well. Okay, so couple of things. I am scheduling out my guests for February. I'm trying to get people lined up. One of them is someone that's been chatting in our chat room today, who I'm trying to convince to join us on the stream at some point. But there are other people as well that I'm trying to get scheduled for our February streams. So hopefully we can get some pair programmers with us, joining us up in the corner up there. So we bring them on. We pair program with people using our VS Live Share plugin, which if you don't know about is really, really awesome. So it actually works in VS Code or Visual Studio, so if you use either of those, you can actually use VS Live Share. The cool thing about that is when we do bring on a pair programmer, we're actually able to code at the same time in the same files, and you can actually see both cursors in the same file at the same time. There's some challenges with that. It's still in preview, but it should be quite awesome. So looking forward to seeing some more pair programming with us. Exactly as Kevin mentions, it is basically like magic. What do I chat about? So here on the stream, we actually talk a lot about various different programming things. Pretty much anything about programming is on the table, but we mostly work on our projects and chat about stuff while we do it. There's a lot of other discussions about stuff in our Discord if you're interested. And yes, when we bring on a pair programmer, we usually just use VS Live Share. Fishing Dev, hey, welcome to the DevChatter Chatosaurus crew. Thank you for that Twitch Prime sub. I'm gonna have to hype. Oh, S&B got the hype in the chat already, so there we go. we got a bunch of Chattosauruses hyping up the chat. So awesome, thank you. You remember when MS bought a company that tried to integrate into Visual Studio? It used to be really bad. Bought the company and tried to integrate it. Oh, VS Live Share, yeah, it's good now. So if they try it, so if I didn't know that was an acquisition, but I'm not surprised. Those kinds of things definitely are there. But no, that is awesome. I do like VS Live Share. It's a little buggy sometimes, but generally it works and it feels like magic because it is quick and works nicely. Anyway, stuff I need to mention. First off, if anyone did want to contribute to our project, we really could use a lot of assistance on it. It is this community project we are working on right here. Our DevStreams site, there's information about stuff. We have some issues defined with some tags for things that are good first issues and things like that. I put claimed on the ones that Simon both recommended and said he would do, just so that people knew to avoid those ones. And I can add labels to other stuff if someone else just comment that you want to take it, and I will put a little claimed tag on it so other people know to avoid it. But if you want to contribute to the project, we are open to pull requests. If you've never contributed to a project before, I recommend, it doesn't have to be mine, but I recommend that you contribute to the project of a programming streamer. And the reason I mention this is that you can really get a lot of help from them in making your first pull request. So if you've never done it before, that is actually a really good place to start, because you know that there is a community, like a friendly community involved already that can, you know, basically not make you feel like an idiot, and you don't have to be scared about making a pull request. Because it is kind of a terrifying thing, because you're like, oh, I'm going to put in this work and I'm going to send you this thing, and you're just going to be like, no. It's like, they might say no. They might be like, what did you just do? Why'd you do that? But the nice thing is that you can actually chat with them before you send the pull request, before you do anything like that. And I actually recommend, if you do want to do that, that you check out our Discord. And for some reason, I need to figure out what the heck's going on with that. But there's links to the Discord down below. Anyway, a couple of things. I am going to be back to the stream on Saturday. So that will be our next stream. On Saturdays, we stream starting at 1 o'clock my time. So that is 2 hours, whatever time it is your time right now, subtract about 2 hours. That's when we start on Saturdays. Yes, Pluton, and I could post on Stack Overflow for help with how to do a pull request. That's going to go well. They're totally not just going to be like, get good, what you doing? Actually, they would probably close that question. I'm going to roll some credits here, because we definitely need to roll some credits today. We got cheers from Adrian, Carey, and Brandon. So awesome, hype. I want to make sure that I thank S&B and Greendolf and Stool Penner. Lucky was here. I didn't see him. But thank you for helping out, supporting the channel, and all of these wonderful people that followed us today. Thank you for those follows. It is always nice to see a lot of people in that list. As I said, if you haven't yet, click the follow button to make sure you get notified when we go live, and check out our Discord link down below. And Stool Penner, Nakey Supra, and Fishing Dev for those resub, and new Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much for those. Always appreciated. I look forward to seeing everyone on Saturday. Hopefully we'll do a little bit more coding with this and get that looking a little nicer. We're probably not going to do the styling yet, but we should be able to get some more here, and I'm hoping to see a couple of pull requests for us to review as well. So either way, have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone, and we will see you on Saturday. Happy coding. Take care.